Here it is, the follow-up video for Virgin Galactic, my first love. In the stock market, that is. A few weeks ago in this video, we said that we would do a follow-up video on ticker SPCE if we hit 300 likes. And you guys absolutely smashed that with over 700 like buttons smashed. So here I am, and lucky for us, Virgin Galactic has some very spicy news for us to talk about. In this video, we're going to recap what Virgin Galactic does, and then go through some Q1 highlights we didn't talk about earlier. I'm going to try and justify their $250,000 ticket price. We're going to talk about their news with NASA, and then we're going to talk about their profitability and their insane margins. All of that coming up next. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Matthew. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking all things Virgin Galactic. As promised, here is the follow-up video. Sorry to keep you waiting, and give me the format. First, we'll do a quick recap of what exactly Virgin Galactic does. Second, we'll cover the new deal with NASA and explain what that means. Third, a couple highlights from Q1 that weren't touched upon in my last video. And then fourth, I'm going to try and justify that ridiculous or seemingly ridiculous $250,000 ticket price. And finally, fifth, we'll talk about their incredible margins and why it'll put them on track for speedy profitability. Now, right before we start this video, make sure you come check out the Patreon, which we just launched. It gives you access to our Discord where we talk about stocks all day long. And we've even dedicated a channel just for this stock we're talking about today. Link is in the description below. All right, get on with it. Part 1. A little bit of a recap from last video as a refresher or just for new viewers. Virgin Galactic is a company started by Sir Richard Branson, the famously popular entrepreneur. They hope to disrupt or more or less create the space tourism industry. Without getting into too much detail, they plan on doing this by taking regular people on a spacecraft that will fly you to over 360,000 feet of altitude, which is actually past the point where you are deemed an astronaut. You'll briefly experience zero gravity, float around and do your thing, and then begin re-entry, where you'll glide gracefully back down before landing on a conventional runway just like a plane. They use a two-ship method to get you there and back, and both of them are completely reusable. Tickets will only cost you $250,000.
Cheap.
That's chump change. Okay, obviously not, but before you say it's too expensive, they already have over 600 reservations, translating to $150 million in revenue. And they certainly plan to make this ticket price more widely available as they make their operations more cost efficient, and I'll try and justify this current ticket price later on in this video. But this is just one facet of Virgin Galactic's business. As I talked about in my last video, they also have opportunities in manufacturing and science experiments in microgravity, and as of late, training private astronauts with NASA and potentially other space agencies too. Let's talk about part 2, NASA news, baby. So, NASA just struck a deal with Virgin Galactic to train private astronauts for spaceflight. This was the reason for the big spike in the price the other day. What does this mean? Well, NASA and Virgin Galactic intend to find people who just casually want to go on vacation to the International Space Station. Okay, well, not really like an extended vacation, but more of a trip. And this would be called a private astronaut mission. Virgin Galactic agrees to provide a new private astronaut orbital. In this agreement, Virgin Galactic agrees to create a new private orbital astronaut readiness program and provide transportation to the ISS and on-orbit resources and ground resources. This deal was largely proposed because of and made possible by the 600 reservations we talked about earlier. The CEO of Virgin Galactic said that the unsurpassed level of spaceflight customer commitments they had secured led to this being recognized as a valid opportunity. This deal is hugely important because it gives an entire new arm to Virgin Galactic's business operations. They're diversifying their products and services so that now if you go to suborbital trips and you experience zero gravity and you become an astronaut and you're still like, that kind of blows, that was, I don't know, wasn't worth it, well, then you can sign up for a trip again with Virgin Galactic to the International Space Station. This will become an entire process that Virgin Galactic can monetize at different points instead of the one-time transaction to a 90-minute flight to suborbital space. And knowing the Virgin brand, like all of the Virgin airlines, the customer service on this trip is going to be amazing. I thought that'd just be a point to throw in because they are serving high net worth clients and the expectations are high, and Virgin can definitely definitely meet those standards. And again, as I did say in my last video, UBS projects that the space economy will become an $805 billion industry by 2030. Oh yeah, and don't let this overshadow the fact that this is Virgin Galactic's second partnership with NASA, their first being their partnership to develop supersonic point-to-point air travel. So I promised in my other video we'd do a bit of a deeper dive, so let's do that, and where better to start than with the Q1 earnings report. Now, I already did most of my analysis on their Q1 report in my last video, but I'm just going to mention two quick highlights that I didn't mention before. So the first thing I want to talk about this time around is the effect of the Rona. It did force them to shut down temporarily, but since May 5th, 90% of their employees whose work requires them to be on site are now back. This gives me a lot of confidence that the pandemic won't slow them down too much. Another encouraging update is that Virgin Galactic has now received 24 out of the 29 verification and validation procedures from the FAA. This is necessary to receive their reusable launch vehicle license, which allows for their spaceflight missions. And this is great because, as we've seen with other companies like Boeing, for example, the FAA can really put a halt on progress. Now, granted, it's very necessary in a situation like Boeing, but it's just nice to see that Virgin Galactic is moving along swimmingly. We already covered the financials in the last video, so just go check it out there if you haven't already. They're pretty good. Instead, we're going to talk about part 4, justifying that seemingly insane $250,000 ticket price. Okay, perspective. The key here is perspective. Just bear with me here as I follow this train of thought. The ultra rich live an ultra luxury life. And with almost every video or movie that talks about super rich people, what's the one thing you always see? Yachts. I went to look at the prices for chartering a yacht on worldwideboats.com, and I found that chartering a yacht can cost up to $500,000 per week. I looked up the prices for a private jet charter from San Francisco to London, another rich person activity. It was almost $100,000 one way. Here's a hotel for $80,000 per night. Here's another one for $100,000 per night. Oh, and I'll just leave this here. Why show you all this? Well, does $250,000 sound as outrageous anymore? I mean, on one hand, 2.5 nights in Vegas in a little penthouse, and the other, become a freaking astronaut and experience zero gravity. And that leads me to my second point about this. Ultra rich people are seeking ultra exclusive experiences, and what's more exclusive than going to space? Only 550 people or less have ever been to space. 4,000 people have successfully climbed Mount Everest. Nearly 8 times more people have successfully climbed the tallest mountain in the world than have been to space. The point is, going to space is a very unique experience that is already worth paying for. But when you compare it to the alternative of spending 2.5 nights in a nice room in Vegas or spending a week on a big fat yacht, I personally would go to space. And over 600 people already agree with me because of the 600 reservations for tickets. When you put it this way, $250,000 is still a lot, but it starts to make sense. And this is important to our analysis of Virgin Galactic because it tells us, it's not unreasonable to expect them to have a steady flow of customers. But there is the issue of a lot of people getting free flights lately, and this is something that Branson really needs to fix. According to legend, you can get a free flight to Virgin Galactic by smashing that like button. No, really, just try it. Alright, part 5, the last part of this video, Virgin Galactic's crazy margins. The profitability potential on Virgin Galactic is really quite impressive. Not only are Virgin Galactic flights very scalable, but they also boast a 66% margin on every single flight. Check this out. So Virgin Galactic can fit 8 people per flight, 2 pilots, 6 passengers. Well, let's assume that 6 passengers have paid $250,000 each. That's $1.3 million in revenue. Subtract all the rocket motor and fuel costs, subtract customer costs like insurance and training, subtract flight operation costs like consumables and fleet management, and that leaves you with a projected $800,000 or a 66% margin for every flight. And how many flights does Virgin Galactic plan to run exactly? Try 115 flights in 2021, 170 in 2022, and 270 flights in 2023. You do the math. What's 115 times 800,000? What's 270 times 800,000? Yeah. And if you want their revenue from space flights alone in 2023, just do 1.3 million times 270. Profitability should not be an issue as long as they can execute. And with this team and leadership, I am sure that they can. If you found any value at all in this video, and I hope you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Go to the link in the description below to join our Discord, where we already have over 140 members talking about stocks all day long. Come join our community of investors. And of course, we got the 2 free stocks down below as well if you sign up for Webull and deposit at least $100. And as always, we end with the quote of the day. Space is an inspirational concept that allows you to dream big. That's from Peter Diamandis. I don't know. He's commonly known for being the co-founder of the X Prize, and I actually have his book right here, Bold. And I've only read part of it, so I can't tell you how it ends, but pretty good. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. You are the real MVPs. Don't forget your peace and thank yous.